Hey, and welcome to the show. I'm Joe Zamataro, and with me is my friend and co-owner of PWCMuscle, Greg Hall.
What's up?
This week we'll talk about the upcoming P1 Aqua X season and schedule, rumors about a turbo stand-up, Tampa Bay Lightning, and the big college championship game that was Monday between Alabama and Georgia. So,
that was a crazy ending there. That was nuts. Going into overtime after they missed that kick, you figure that Alabama was finally going to lose. And, of course, Saban figures out some way.
Yeah, so
putting in a true freshman and wins the game after the half. I think, what was it, 13-0 they were down?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, 2 full possessions. I mean, that's a good way to start off today's show because that was. I didn't have a dog in the fight, no pun intended, but I just wanted to see a good game, and I don't think you can get much better than the way that one went.
Yeah, it was a crazy ending. It was definitely exciting. Whether you're, I'm the same way. I'm not a fan of either team. I would have liked to see Georgia win since they haven't won in like 37 years. I think it said.
Ooh, that's yeah. Yeah, it was 1980 was the last year that they claimed the championship.
Yeah, but at the same time now, Nick Saban has his 6th national championship, so
he's tied with
most. Bear Bryant, who also was a coach at Alabama. I think we talked about that last week's pod. Well,
we did, and that game, the whole first half. I mean, it really was a defensive battle. It was a late touchdown that Georgia had. They had 2 field goals before it. It looked like it's just going to be a really, really tight game.
Yeah, well, they had Jalen Hurts at quarterback, and he's more of like a running back. The guy can't throw to save his life. So I think he made the right move by switching over. It's a true freshman.
Well, that's a hell of a ballsy move to make a change, and you go to a true freshman in the national championship game.
The kid didn't have any game time all season from what I was reading. So, I don't follow Alabama, so I had no idea. I didn't even know who the kid was, but he definitely stepped up. He's a lefty too. I noticed. He's got an arm.
Yeah, it definitely has an arm. But you could see that he was he didn't have a lot of reps under his belt when he kept getting into pressure. Yeah. And instead of throwing it away, he would eat it.
20-yard sack.
Yeah,
and then the next play, he throws the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, second to last play of the game, loses, I want to say it was about 20 yards, like 18 yards, getting sacked. You think Georgia's got it all wrapped up because they have to.
Or at least hold him to a kick.
Well,
the kicker hasn't made a kick all night. He can't make it. I think what did he do? He went 2 for 4, I think, is what the kicker.
Yeah, he missed the game-winning field goal that
under 40 yards.
Under 40 yards that would have won the game with no time left on the clock.
Yeah,
and they sent them to overtime instead.
Yep.
Yeah, pushing them back that 18 yards would have been.
At the same time, though, Georgia's kicker, the kid. Did you ever see that movie Little Giants when you were a kid?
Oh God, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it had Ed. I can't remember the guy's last name. The guy from Married with Children. He was the coach.
Yeah, yeah.
So the kicker for Georgia looks exactly like one of the little kids from that movie with the glasses. If you pull up the pictures, we should do a side by side. I wish we could pull up a side by side. Little Giants is the movie.
Little Giants, huh?
Yeah. If you pull up.
Yeah, pull up Little Giants and send me the kid that you're talking about.
Here. Makes me think. The kicker made me think of this kid.
Oh, Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis.
Ed O'Neill, yeah, that was a good movie. It was
definitely
a good movie.
You like your older movies there.
There's a picture of it. I don't know if you can put it on the screen. Maybe you could stick that on the screen for a second so everybody could see that's watching.
Yeah, let's see.
He just
the kid with
something just reminded me of this kid.
He had that because he had those glasses.
Yeah, and he had some I think asthma machine or something. It's been so long since I've seen the movie, but every time I see the kicker, Georgia's kicker, I think of this kid.
Oh man, yeah, I'll try putting this up real quick on the screen. Shouldn't be too bad. Let's see. Yeah, he definitely had those thick glasses, and when
the kicker's name is Rodrigo Blankenship. Got some goggles, but like I say, I always wondered what happened to the kid from Little Giants. Now we know.
Well, yeah, Still, talking about that game, that was one of the better national championships that we've seen in quite a while. There's a lot of times you get blowouts. I remember the time that it wasn't with Tebow, but when Florida beat, they whipped the crap out of maybe it was Ohio State, and it was like 42-17.
Yeah, Tebow was there.
Oh, he was there, but he wasn't the starting quarterback.
Yeah, that was when Chris Leak was a starting quarterback.
All right.
But Tebow played. He was like the change of pace quarterback.
All right, here's the.
But yeah, it was a good game. It was definitely worth watching, even though I'm not a fan of either team.
Yeah.
Kept my interest.
But how cool would it be to have been a Georgia fan living in Atlanta? That's where it's actually at. You get to see it. It's basically a home game for you. What the school's like an hour away.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be pretty amazing.
It's a Georgia team playing football with a 13-0 lead. Does that sound familiar?
What are you getting at there?
Remember the Falcons choked to 20? It was 23-3. They choke and end up losing. So maybe it's just the Georgia thing. No offense to you Georgia fans out there. I'm sorry, but it's a tough 12 months for teams and football teams in Georgia specifically.
So now, what do you think Nick Saban's next move is?
Yeah, I think he stays. I don't think there's a lot of people that think he's going to try to go to the NFL again. Why? He's got such a cush job. He's making bank, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or notice salary. I'm guessing he's making probably $7-8 million a year.
Oh,
everybody loves him.
Guess higher than that. I mean, he brings in so much.
Oh,
money.
He's not. He doesn't have that Chucky contract, that 10-year, $100 million deal. That's why the Bucs didn't end up getting him.
He does though. He does. He 11.3 or $11.13 million.
Really, just his contract, or is that's what endorsements?
That's what it says his salary was this season.
Really? I guess.
And I'm sure that
team
figures.
Team makes so much money.
I'm sure that figures in also to a championship. The bonuses that you get for that.
Yeah, which
Yeah, no joke that Chucky got his contract. I mean, the Glazers weren't going to pay that sort of money for him. I don't think, or at least not for
10.
For that
I think
long.
The 10-year guarantee. I think that's something that the Glazers didn't want to do. I don't know what type of clauses he has in it, which usually coaches can get fired at any time. But they had to entice Gruden out.
Mm-hmm.
They probably have to give him some guarantees that he'd be able to keep his job for at least maybe 5 years. I don't know if there's something in the contract or something.
Well, it's hard on any coach for that matter to take over a team without having a few years of getting the team set up the way you want. You don't always get the first options, when you first get in there.
Yeah.
Well, I want to move on to the upcoming P1 Aqua X season. Looking forward to this. It's, I'm trying to think. I think it's like their 6th year, and they're expanding a little bit. Right now, it looks like for the Pro Series, we've got 4 races in Florida. We have one in Miami, the first race coming up on the April 21st and 22nd. St. Pete Beach, which is just right around the corner for us.
Yeah,
in June.
Close to home.
Yep. Sarasota, which is always right before 4th of July weekend. Then they have that Chicago race in September, and then the final Florida race for the Pro Series is in about mid-November. But they also have additional races for the amateur class. There's a Kissimmee race there. Let's see, what else do we have? One in a Great Lakes Pro Am series. So there's a Whiting and North Point race, and it looks like they also expanded the UK one. So they're doing a lot to continue to grow.
Yeah, even if you're not racing, try to make it out to these events to support them. To get this bigger again. In the 90s, it was pretty large. It was on ESPN, and racing kind of fell off for a few years there.
Oh, it's always fun to go out there and watch.
Yeah, P1 puts on a good show too. They really do. They put a lot of time and money into making these things exciting. So if there's one close to you or a couple hour drive, make that drive. Support the sport. And
and if you're at one of the Florida ones, we'll probably be at least half of them. Come by, say hi, and
for any of the one that doesn't know, we're actually based out of Tampa, so we're not too far from a few of these events. So we'll definitely be there.
One notable spot missing from this, though, is looks like they canceled Daytona. They don't have it on here this year.
Maybe just a scheduling conflict. There's a lot of things that are going on over there in Daytona. They always having the.
Well, Daytona's been a pretty interesting race the past
I
couple
wonder
of
if
years.
that's. I wonder if that's it too with the tide. Yeah, exactly. I wonder if that's playing into it. I wouldn't suspect so. I think that's something they took into account before going out there in the first place.
I think it was
that'd be interesting. Maybe get Michelle on and ask her what's going on with that.
I think it was like 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure there was a lunar low tide, and it made it so that the racers they couldn't have been more than 20 feet from the sand on the beach. I mean, they were close, and with the tide going out, the buoys stayed where they were, but the water line just kept pushing further and further towards towards where the buoys were. And I think someone ended up actually breaking a leg coming off on the front straight.
I do remember that. If it becomes a safety concern, they'll be all over that. They'll shut that down quick. So maybe that is something that came into play.
Yeah, but the first race being in Miami, I'm looking forward to that. Miami's always a fun place to be, even if it's just going out there for the weekend.
Yeah.
So also in the news with personal watercraft, been hearing rumors. Was talking with someone and got a couple of other people talking about it as well, that there's a Kawasaki SRX that someone's trying to put an SVHO motor into it.
Really?
The same one that's in the GP 1800, the FX SVHO. So it's a stand-up ski that already comes with a Kawasaki 4-cylinder engine. I mean, the thing it's pretty large on its own. But yeah, they're trying to stuff a forced injection motor. It'll be making something like 250 horsepower out the gate without any modifications on a stand-up.
In the SXR?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That
stand-up skiing going probably 80 plus miles an hour, I'm willing to bet.
Yeah, that's scary. Just, for me, I'm not a stand-up guy. Going 40 miles per hour for me is scary. It's
I never got that good at stand-up. I couldn't imagine trying to cushion yourself at those sort of speeds if you have any sort of surf.
That would be screaming. Yeah, I'd be interested to see. I'm sure we'll see some videos soon. We'll have to get with those guys and see what's going on. Maybe they can come on the pod and talk about it a little bit.
Well, another project that I heard of, and I'll reach out to for hopefully more info next show, is that R&D is building a turbo kit for the Kawasaki engine that's already in the SXR.
Yeah,
SRX.
The SXR, you mean?
Did I?
Yeah. You said SRX. Yeah. It's SXR. Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. I would like to talk to them about that too. I'd love to see. I wonder if they have like a prototype out yet of something going.
Yeah, I'm sure they're working on it. I mean, if you can fit a turbo kit onto a Sea-Doo Spark, I'm sure you can. Yeah,
you can. It's gonna, as some of our listeners know, it's gonna explode. But
I mean, it doesn't always explode. Sometimes it just melts everything down.
But it's a ticking time bomb at that time. At that point, everyone that I know that's turbocharged their Spark have had major issues.
They've had a ton of fun for a couple rides.
Yeah.
Well, also coming up here in Tampa, we're going to have the NHL All-Star Game, and right now we're just a couple of games past the halfway point in the NHL season, and our Bolts are still in first place in the entire league.
Yeah, but even that's great and all, which we're Bolts fans, but I think the greatest story is the Vegas Knights. They're second in the entire league. They're an expansion club. It's unheard of for an expansion team to be this.
And they've gone through an amazing amount of injuries, especially with their
goalies. Yeah. But their farm team is stocked now too, because all those first round picks, I think they had like 4 or 5 first round picks last year that they got from teams that basically gave up first round picks so they didn't take their better players in the expansion draft. It's crazy that a team this far into the season, a little bit more than halfway through, they're first in the Western Conference right now. They'd be first seed if the season ended today. They'd be first seed in the Western Conference, which is insane for any
And
expansion team in any sport.
A surprising Winnipeg is in second with 3 more games played.
Yeah, Winnipeg is one of those sneaky good teams. Like, they have size, they have speed. They're just a sneaky good team. You just don't talk about them much because it is in a place that we'll never go, probably.
Yeah,
I love Canada, but I'm not going to be going to Winnipeg.
I tell you what, next year we have to go to Vegas for the away Lightning game.
Yeah, we should have this year, but we had a lot of guys that backed out at the last minute. I had the green light from the wife, so even if we just fly in for a day and a half, I think it's worth it just to
get the experience.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun.
See the game and then hang out another day and then head back. I mean, there's flights so cheap these days. I think there's an airline called Frontier that we went out. We went for Joe's bachelor party last year, and we got like the best seats that they had, and I think it was only $300 a ticket for Frontier out to Vegas. Thing is, they want you to come out there because they know you're going to spend money once you get there.
Oh yeah. So next year, I'd love to do that. I'd love to put some prop bets up too.
Yeah,
I just think that'd be so much fun to
prop bet like absolutely everything.
Yeah,
just in every sport.
This face off, prop.
Yeah,
are they going to score on the power play?
Yeah.
But at the halfway mark though, the Lightning right now, we're 43 games and have 65 points. Vegas has 60 with 2 games in hand, so they can get within 1 point of the Lightning if they win against Edmonton's who they play next, who they're doing pretty atrocious.
Yeah, Edmonton's not good this year, which is weird because they were really good last year.
Well, they snuck their way into the playoffs and then couldn't do much after that.
They remind me of Toronto. Like, Toronto was sneaky good last year, and now Toronto's having a lot of issues. Even they're still in a playoff spot, but
they're not doing that bad.
But have you watched any games though? Like, they'll win a few in a row, and then they'll just have like a string of 3 or 4 really bad games. They just get smoked. So they're kind of hiding it by having good runs, but I think they lost like the last 3 or 4 games.
Also going on with the Lightning, like we mentioned, the All-Star game, we have 4 people from the Bolts that are going to be representing. Vasilevsky, our goaltender, Hedman, Kucherov, and as captain of one of the All-Star teams is going to be Stamkos.
Yeah, Steven Stamkos is the comeback kid. It seems like he's had some bad injury or health issue the last couple of years.
It's hard not to label him injury prone.
Yeah,
sure.
But if you think about it too, a lot of people do say that, but the blood clot wasn't his issue. That was just something that happens to people in life. So
he's had 2. The broken leg was a freak event.
The broken leg, it wasn't a soft tissue injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he got pushed into a net and it broke his leg in half because that's what happens if you get pushed into a stationary object. You're gonna give. He was skating probably 25 miles per hour. He was moving.
Yeah.
So the one thing is, he tore a ligament in his knee. I think that's the one injury that could be classified if you were going to classify someone as injury prone. So that means he only has 1 strike.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time saying he's injury prone.
Well, it's hard not to, when someone's missed that many games, not to label them as that, even though they are completely unrelated.
Makes me think of
flukish.
In the NFL, there's a player for the Chargers named Keenan Allen that a lot of people try to label as injury prone, but he has a lot of issues that, like, he had a lacerated kidney. The one thing that happened is he tore his ACL, but he's had broken bones and stuff like that. You can't, in my opinion, you can't label someone injury prone if they break something, unless it's I don't know.
Well, at least it's not head injuries like multiple concussions or anything like that.
Yeah, that's even scarier than tearing your knee over and over again because head injuries, that's going to be something that's with you the rest of your life.
Tell me about it
after you're done. Yeah, Joe was in a car accident and I think his brain might have been affected to the point that
it's like that old commercial where they show an egg like, this is your brain.
this is your brain on drugs.
They scramble it.
Yeah.
We'll get into
his mind was scrambled for a while. He's getting back though. So
we'll get into that in one of these episodes here soon. That car accident definitely wasn't any fun for sure, and it that's one of the reasons why the GP 1800 project has been delayed. But we do have some news on that front and others that we'll share at the end of the podcast here as well.
Yeah. So glad you're getting better, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Slow but surely, it's coming along.
And I get to watch the guys play hockey instead of doing it myself.
Instead of doing it, that's got to be tough though.
Yeah. But what else is there?
Yeah.
Actually, I was at the rink this past weekend, and today I'm drinking a vanilla porter from Breckenridge Brewery. It's a good beer. I've had it a couple of times before.
Yeah.
But I was watching some people play and got a beer at the bar there, and they had one. I don't remember who made it, but it was called Cinnamon Roll. Have you heard of that one? Yeah, that was like the flavor that they were going for, cinnamon roll.
Huh.
And oh my God, it tasted like you're eating a cinnamon roll.
Was it good?
It was sweet. I wouldn't have more than one, but it was like drinking a cinnamon roll that was delicious.
That's funny.
Yeah. Also, one other thing that I wanted to bring up this podcast. I've been considering for all the people that have a ski, you definitely have a tow vehicle. There's a new Jeep Wrangler that's coming out that looks pretty sweet. A brand new body style. They're basically updating it so that you've got all the modern features, functions, electronics of damn near a high-end sedan. I mean, stuff that most Jeep riders would probably scoff at, like heated seats and such, which I know they've had in the past, but rear backup cameras.
The old school owners probably don't like that too much. I know they're traditionalists.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, you have to give way to new technology, and especially with the regulations that are passed, they have to meet certain laws and rules, if you will.
Yeah.
They've done stuff to make it safe while still fun. It looks pretty sweet as well. You can still fold down the front windshield. You can remove almost all the panels instead of having. It's like the roof supports are integrated into the roll bar instead of being separate. So
that's neat.
Yeah, I think it's neat because it makes it easier to take stuff on and off. They've done away with all the zippers, which you remember when I had my Jeep, I'd have to have you like pull on one end while I would do the other in order to actually get
and
those
God
things
forbid
on
it
off.
started raining, then you're really in trouble trying to get that thing on. I remember us trying to get it on a couple times when it was raining.
Yeah.
If it starts pouring, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's hard to get it up fast, that's for sure. I mean, you just hope that you can drive fast enough to allow it to hit the windshield and go over your head.
Yeah.
But yeah, this new one actually, they have an option for a powered top on it as well. So you don't even have to get out. You can just press a button. I don't know that I'd ever go for that route, but when you look at the number of people that buy these things now and who's owning them, I think it's going to be a popular option, and it's just going to help them sell even more units than they're already selling.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not, expand your product base and your client base? And that's, I think, what they're doing right there. Does it have the tow assist? Have you seen the new, like the F-150s?
What does the F-150 have?
Well, the F-150s, for anyone that hasn't looked at them in years, have gotten to be basically luxury cars. They're luxury vehicles. They have anything and everything you can think of. But they have a tow assist on some of them that, for some people that have trouble launching at the boat ramp, there's a button that you hit and it'll back it up for you. Dead serious.
No way.
Dead serious.
So it keeps everything in line?
Keeps it in line. So if you have trouble backing up your truck, it'll do it for you. I think it's on the new F-150s. But the new F-150s, they have like multi 360 cameras and stuff like that. They're seriously,
the one
they're like,
it looks like an overhead view sort of thing.
Yeah. So my brother-in-law has the Platinum, a 2017 Platinum edition, and he let me drive it. It's nasty. They're expensive, but it's nasty, man. It's nice.
Yeah, probably haul a lot in it. That's the one weak point for the Wrangler has always been their towing capacity it's relatively low, and especially on the two doors, just because of the wheelbase, they're not capable of towing nearly as much.
Yeah.
When it comes to hauling skis around, it's nothing. But yeah, some of those F-150s, man, I rented one to pull a boat. It was actually an F-250 diesel.
Yeah.
And it was really, really nice inside as well. I mean, that thing was leather.
Yeah, the F-250 is nice too.
The touch screen is I don't. It wasn't even lifted, but it was already really high, big vehicle, and it drove so easily, so smoothly.
Yeah, Ford stepped their game up for sure in the last couple of years with their truck line.
Yeah.
They look great, and they're like I said, they have all the luxury features that a lot of that have only been in cars. So definitely check out the Ford line. I know some people are super against Ford, so never get it no matter what it has.
I don't see why. I used to be anti-Ford when back in my Chevy Corvette days, but now it's just hard to not respect the lineups that they have. They got so much going on for them.
They're trying. They're trying at least.
But I'm
a
definitely
lot of auto manufacturers aren't really trying anymore. So
I'm definitely looking forward to taking a test drive in the new Wrangler, though. Might be a tow vehicle coming up here soon. But that's about all that I got for today. Unless you have anything else.
Yeah, let's talk about the NFL, man.
You want to talk?
The NFL playoffs. So I was 2 for 2 in my picks last week. I got the two first games wrong, but then I picked the Jags right. It looks like the Jags are almost going to lose, and then they ended up winning.
Let me pull up see what our matchups are going to be this week.
Yeah, this week we have what is it? The Jags go against the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely taking the Steelers. There's without a quarterback. Without a quarterback, there's no way that the Jags are going to beat the Steelers. And then we have the Titans and the Patriots. There's absolutely no chance that the Titans are going to knock the Patriots off. So it looks like in the AFC we're going to have a rematch of Steelers Patriots. I'm calling it now, man. I think the Steelers make it to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they win the Super Bowl after getting over the Patriots. That's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
But I think they make it to the Super Bowl. They have Antonio Brown coming back.
That's about the only matchup that you would think that can beat New England, really. I mean, I don't see the Jags having a chance against the Patriots.
Yeah, and the four remaining NFC teams are the Falcons, Saints, Eagles, and Vikings. So
I'm still going with the South on those picks.
So you think the Falcons and the Saints are going to win?
I don't know that they're going to win, but that's who I'm pulling for. I think that the Saints are going to win. I don't know so much that the Falcons will have a chance.
I think the Falcons are going to end up winning with Nick Foles in at quarterback instead. I think if Carson Wentz was still at quarterback, it'd be a totally different thing. But I say the Falcons, Saints, Steelers, Patriots. Falcons, Saints, Steelers, Patriots. I think that's how it's going to be.
That's exactly what I would pick, which I know makes it really boring, but
yeah,
that's exactly what I would say. And yeah, we got a Bird Bowl at 4:30 on Saturday. So the Eagles versus the Falcons there.
Yeah. There's a few exciting games. I think that the Steelers-Jaguars game is still going to be exciting because the Jags destroyed the Steelers early on this season, but that was a totally different team. I mean, at the time, Ben, his play was marginal at best, and he's gotten a lot better throughout the season. I mean, that was after the game that was the game, actually, that he came out afterwards and said that he thought maybe his career was over. I don't know if you remember him saying that.
Yeah.
Is because the Jaguars absolutely shut him down. Could that happen again? I guess it could.
Do you think there's going to be a confidence issue there, or is it going to be
No, I think it's going to be the opposite. Ben's a big game performer. I think he's going to step up and I think they're going to just destroy the Jags. Blake Bortles actually has regressed. He was playing really well 3 or 4 weeks ago, and last week he just looked atrocious. He looked like the old Blake Bortles. Yeah. So I think that the Jags are going to end up losing. I mean, this has been a great season for them. They went from a bottom feeder team for the last 10 years to ever since Jack Del Rio left. He was the coach there. Ever since he left, they've been terrible, and now they have some hope. They got a glimmer of hope. So I'm excited for them. They need to get a new quarterback. Blake Bortles needs to go, unfortunately. I like the kid, but,
Is there anyone that's
Eli Manning.
That's going to be Eli's going to be available?
There's a rumor because Tom Coughlin is in Jacksonville now, and Tom Coughlin, of course, was Eli's coach for the 2 Super Bowl wins. So
There's
chance.
a lot of quarterbacks that are going to be available if they don't get re-signed.
Yeah, probably the top one is Kirk Cousins is going to be available.
Kirk Cousins, yep.
He's going to be a big sought after free agent. There's going to be a
Not
few
that
teams.
it would ever happen, but Drew Brees.
Yeah, the problem with Drew is he's at the latter part of his career. It'd be hard for someone to commit. He's going to want. I think he's going to want to stay where he's at because he wants to pick up and move their family at this point in his career. And basically the Saints don't really have any backup plan right now. Who are they going to do next year if they don't have Drew Brees? They're probably just going to give him another 1 year, $20 million deal, and both parties will be happy.
Let's see who else we got. I just saw one that I wanted to. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins. I think that's the
Drew
big
Brees,
that's the big fish.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon
Bell, yeah, right.
Le'Veon Bell is another guy that could go somewhere because Pittsburgh is notorious for not overpaying, I should say, letting guys walk. Le'Veon's such a good player. Like I would hate to see Pittsburgh lose him. I want a lot of teams to keep their best players, but they have to make sure they have money for other positions. They're pretty well balanced now, Pittsburgh. I mean, look at what New England's done. They've won all these championships, and they haven't really had a solid number one running back. They just plug and play at that position.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that's the one position that you really can do that for, because the life expectancy of a running back isn't that lower than any other position.
It is. It's the shortest careers in the NFL for running backs.
So when they get hot, they blow their money on someone and.
Which is odd because I remember in the 90s, like the running backs would be with teams for 10 years. You have Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith,
well, I mean, you still
Thurman Thomas. All these guys would be on the same team for years and years and years. But now it's quick turnover.
Well, maybe that's because the almost like the dying of the fullback. They had someone charging full bore ahead in order to clear people out, so the hits weren't quite the same.
Yeah, the position's evolving, man. It really is. It's changing. The game's changing. It's more of a throwing league.
I'm just thinking, but AP's one that's lasted a really long time in the league, too.
Yeah, but he's a generational player. I mean, he's one of the best running backs of all time. He's probably top 15 running backs of all time. Maybe even top 10. I'd have to see a list.
Yeah, definitely the exception rather than the rule.
Yeah, I mean, physically, he's very gifted. He's lucky with injuries. I mean, the guy tore his ACL. Came back the next season and led the league in rushing yards, which no one had ever done that before.
Yeah, he's a machine.
Yeah, he's not the same as everybody else. So we'll have to see. There's a lot of good young running backs that are in the league, but a lot of these running backs like Kareem Hunt, they're getting these guys in the third round now. You don't go in the first round anymore. Mm-hmm. I know Leonard Fournette was picked in the first round, but Kamara on the Saints, he was picked I think like third round too. Yeah, he was picked in the third round. Our boy Marlon Mack was picked in the third round. He's probably going to be the starting running back, if not next year, soon enough in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I was just looking at his stats on the season, and he actually is.
He played
on a
well.
Team that's not doing too great. He played really well.
Yeah, because Andrew Luck was out all season, so that kind of
helped him get more looks.
I think the opposite. I think it made it worse for him because.
So they know there wasn't going to be a passing game.
Yeah, they just run the ball with Gore, because if you look in how they use Mac, they use him as their third down back, the kid that gets to catch passes and whatnot out of the backfield. But
he did have a rushing touchdown for his first game in the season.
Yeah,
so that was.
And then he got injured shortly thereafter that.
Yeah, true. They lost that game. I think it was like 42-6. I don't think they converted their extra point, or maybe it was a little bit more. Maybe they had just a little bit more help. Maybe it was 10. But they got blown up, and he's the only person that scored.
Yeah, that's
on his first.
That sounds about right. Yeah. I remember watching the game, actually bits and pieces of it, because I am Marlon Mack went to USF, so that's where both Joe and I went, University of South Florida, and that's one of the reasons that we're anti-UCF. It's national champions, guys.
I mean, that you wouldn't mind if we did the same thing.
Yeah, like I said before, I would do the same thing. If the ball were in our court, I'd say that we're national champions as well.
Well, we'll have to make it interesting next week for our picks. Get a couple that aren't quite the same. And
I got an idea to make it more interesting next week too. So definitely tune in and check it out.
We'll have to get a hold of those.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it a secret for now, but check out next week and see. It's gonna be funny.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be one hot take.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, thank you very much for listening, and be sure to join us on YouTube for more videos. We have all of our build series up there, as well as our other podcasts, and PWCMuscle.com for all of your performance needs.
Yeah. Check out PWCExtreme.com for performance chat for all makes, all models, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Sea-Doo. Like Joe said, we also have a build series on a Sea-Doo Spark that we did a couple years ago that people still ask questions about. So if you have any questions about that, just chime in on the videos. The GP1800 build, check out SeaDooForum.com.
Yep, and next week we'll have some more news on an upcoming project as well as progress with our GP1800 ski.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to get back into the GP1800 and get going with that again. We have a few videos that we're working on to debut here hopefully soon. So yeah, guys.
Always working for more content.
Working from content, yeah. Especially right now when it's a little slower. Everyone's iced over, not needing as much help. But we know a couple months you guys are going to be in need of some help once everybody thaws out. It's been cool. It's actually been pretty cold down here the last couple of weeks. We've been in the 40s, 50s, which I say cold, but people are probably laughing at me right now.
Hey, man, we had to wear our jackets. You know how hard it is to bust those out from the back of the closet?
Had to put my hoodie on.
Well, until next time, guys, for Greg Hall, I'm Joe Zamataro saying ride fast, and we'll see you on the water.
See ya.